This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is July 26, 2018, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, 1:45 South African time, we have a refinancing rate coming out of the ECB, and then it's followed with a press conference at 2:30 South African time. Lastly, monthly durable good orders coming out of the United States. Now, yesterday, we saw the dollar getting weaker across the board, and that was followed also with a surprise regulatory sanctions coming on Facebook. Stock pummeled $44 in after hours trading. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but let's see what's going on in the markets.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're looking here at a 4-hour chart on the Euro USD. As you can see, we really consolidated here at 116.91, really flirting with it quite some time yesterday. We even thought that it was going to go further down yesterday. However, it did not. Okay, it stood the line and then, crossed over the 117.02-ish level, and we're back to 117.43-ish level. Now, the next real resistance level, 117.83, since we hit that back a couple of weeks ago. So really, ultimately, we are sitting at somewhat of a resistance here. Okay, this may be a triple top, so just keep that in mind as we do trade today. But again, there are some moves. Okay, they're not massive moves, but they're decent. Okay, 50 pips a day. If you're taking out 30 to 40 pips out of that 50 pip move, not so bad, especially if you're doing it with smaller volume, as we're a little bit more in a trading range as opposed to trending upwards and getting more aggressive with it. So keep that in mind later today. GBP USD getting much stronger against the dollar, as you can see, 132.07. We broke above this 131.56-ish level, and that took us up higher. Next real resistance level is 132. So there is some life back to the GBP, which is good to see. The next real, like I said, the next real resistance level is 132.29-ish level. So keep that in mind. If we do not break up above that, we may see ourselves just trading in that range. Okay, so this happened across the board. USD ZAR getting stronger versus the dollar, trading at 1310-ish level. Okay, which is a possibility we mentioned yesterday. As it got to these levels, we said you can short the dollar versus the rand here as the rand got stronger, and now we're at this bottom of this move. A little bit of a support level at 1310, especially if we do break 13. We could definitely see it go back down to 1275. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but keep that in mind as we continue to trade there. Now, the real catalyst yesterday was the Aussie USD getting stronger versus the dollar. As you can see, we're looking like we're setting up a upwards trend here. Okay, three higher lows here, as you can see. Okay, a retracement back down to this level. Real support level at 74.26-ish level. So keep that in mind, because this was resistance, subsequent support. This is really a classic move. So we may see this in the Euro USD, okay, as we're hitting that triple top. If we do break above that 1780, and that is a nice celebration of maybe a short, okay, upwards trend. Okay, for the interim, okay, meaning to say we may see ourselves back to the 75-ish level, okay, on the upside, but this may be a interim, trend for now, okay, an upwards trend. So keep that in mind as we continue to trade later today. Now, jumping into the USD CAD as well, getting stronger versus the USD, trading at 130.38. Okay, we haven't been at these levels for quite some time, and we're really hitting somewhat of a previous resistance level, maybe subsequent support. So keep that in mind later today. We're looking at a 4-hour chart there. Now, if we look at a daily chart, you could appreciate that a little bit more, as you see that we've hit this with the wick several times before. So this may be actually a spot where we do bounce off. So keep that in mind later today. Looking at oil yesterday, we rallied a little bit to 69.36, just above our resistance level. Okay, but we're still in resistant-ish level. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, jumping into the NASDAQ, all right? So the NASDAQ represents all the high-tech stocks in the United States, like Facebook, like Amazon and Google. I've been mentioning this before. As you can see here, this is after hours trading, okay? The NASDAQ futures trade 24/7, so you won't be able to see this in Facebook, but Facebook got hit with a lot of regulatory and a lot of oversight from the government in respect to some of their policies and some of their, the way they conduct business. And the stock pummeled $44 in after hours trading, okay, after hitting all-time highs, 218. We'll take a look at that in just a second, but you could see where the Nasdaq just, sold off sharply here, okay, and actually gapped down. All right, we had this nice rally up yesterday. This was after our rally the previous day, okay, and then we sold off and we said, wow, it's really hard to pick the tops of this, every time it retraces, it goes up even higher. And sure enough, it did go higher. Okay, but what happened is that it sold off sharply right afterwards. Okay, with this, new sanctions or new regulatory practices being enforced on Facebook, really hit the market. Okay, and as you can see, we gapped down and we're trading at 74.43. That's over 150 points down. Okay, now if we look at Facebook, you can only appreciate this. Okay, if we look at a daily chart, we're on the daily chart, we're trading at $218 a share, okay, but that's really not where we're at. We'll probably be opening up at 177-ish level right down here. So the stock actually is gapped down over $44, okay. Now this is really a hard day to really trade, because what happens is that these type of days, many fund managers are trying to get out of their positions, but they can't, sell it off so sharply because the prices have retraced so far that they try to, keep it up. All right. So we're going to have a really choppy day in the Nasdaq today. So just keep that in mind, that the indices may be a little bit wacky today. All right. So altogether, this is massive kind of news. This is really colossal because it really changes the face of the situation. Now, if we look at Google, all-time highs, 1262, okay, sitting right there, all right, and hasn't retraced. So the market may still, show some resiliency despite this, sanctions or new policy towards Facebook. So keep that in mind. Amazon as well, all-time new highs, 1862 as well. So you got to keep this in mind, all right? So, the markets are strong, the economy is strong, but Facebook is being, singled out for some of their regulatory practices. So that may affect the market altogether. So jumping into the Dow Jones, we're trading at 25,416, and we broke a little bit above that. Now we got to see some consistency here and some follow through for this to really be a upwards trend. Okay, the DAX followed as well to 12,722, and really looking like it wants to break up above this 12,758. So let's see if we do get that today. Okay, this is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.